some say energy input. So leader is a person who can there's a gap. X people you want to go to Y. So the gap might be enormous sometimes. So it's the leader's job as a catalyst to bring out that gap. So that is transformation.
Got it. Thank you.
So if I have to summarize that would be initiating the change.
Initiating the change.
Yeah. So the process of change, helping.
Got it.
And one more, it will be
Influencer. Okay.
how somebody can look at you and they themselves feel like a leader.
Feel like a leader. Somebody looks at you and feels like a leader. Beautiful, isn't it? So if I may request you to sit straight, you may want to unfold your legs, your arms, and let's start this conversation with this beautiful, I call it sound bath, right? And my invitation to you would be, you may want to close your eyes and just be fully present to where you are right now. And for the next 2 days, my request to you would be, forget the organization that you're coming from. They would get benefited, that's my responsibility. And just focus on who you are becoming, moment by moment, who you are becoming, right? So just be fully present. In case you would like to keep your eyes closed or open, I'm going to leave it to you. But keep your back straight, keep your neck straight. Unlock your arms, unlock your hands. You may want to keep it on your knees and just be fully present here as you are listening to what's happening here. You know, 2 days back, I was sitting with somebody and we were discussing what's the most important thing. What's the most important thing? And the person introduced a term called bhav. And I'm sure you are aware of what bhav means. In different scriptures, it's written that the sankalpa makes all the difference. And when I'm talking about sankalpa or bhav or intentions, it has a deep-rooted impact on what gets created. And I'm sure when you thought that you would like to be a part of this 2 days journey, you would have given a thought to what you would like to create, or what you expected that something will get created through you. And if not, then I'm sure there's some default intention that got created for you. Because in case you are not going to create, the context that you are a part of is going to create the intention that you are a part of. I shall repeat it. In case you don't create an intention, the default mode in which you are running your life, that's going to create the intention, and thus the autopilot is going to take over the bhav that possibly you could bring in. And when I was putting together this program together, I started with this very basic intention, let's launch a new program, because every time when we do workshops or when I work with individuals in different organizations, irrespective of the hierarchy that they are in, they are from, one of the common themes that I get to hear is, Gaurav, do you do workshops in the public forum? And of course the answer is yes, because that's what we have been doing for so long. So the intention was that it's been a long time that we have not doing as frequently as we used to do it at one point in time before COVID. So let's restart from somewhere. So thus the program name was Leader as a Growth Catalyst. And least did I expect that there's a journey that I have gone through in the last 6 years as well, since 2020, as we all have gone through certain journeys, the ups and the downs, because the complexities have changed to an extent that our mind can't even comprehend. In the last 6 years, I've lost both my parents. My mom moved on her respective journey, so did my father. The world is changing at a rate that you can't fathom as well. So while I was on that journey, that the intention was primarily to launch the program as a vertical in business, but least did I expect that when I'll start putting together the thoughts, when I would start putting together the pen to paper, what is going to flow through me would be extremely difficult, radically different from where I started from. So if you would have asked me, Gaurav, what people can expect in this 2 days program, I would have said, no, people would learn certain tools, people should learn certain frameworks so that they should be able to go back home and put it together, implement it in their own respective lives, and implement it with their team members as well. But while I was walking on that path, I lost that intention, because that's superficial. I don't think that I'll be able to do justice to that. I don't want to do justice to that. Instead, I said, let me just sit here and see what shows up in this conversation. Now, interestingly, the day I threw that intention in the universe, I started meeting people. Who, moment by moment, were imbibing in something which is extremely crucial and foundational and fundamental for the next 2 days. I'm not surprised that only a few days back I came across this term called bhava. It's not that I was not aware of this term called bhava. I am aware of this term called bhava, but why did it come to me at this point in time? I said, shucks man, there's a program that I have to do. Possibly this word belongs to this, and I have to bring this together in this alchemy, what we're going to put together in the melting pot. And that's where my journey to put together another intention which is deeper than, which is beyond me, start coming together. So the intention for me with which I started was, hey, can we start to relook at ourselves the way I've never seen myself? And I'll not be surprised that after 2 days, one of you tells me, 2 of you would come to me, or you would start to speak to each other amongst yourself that, know what, hey, I've never seen myself the way I saw myself in the last 2 days. Because one, you would be able to accomplish things only when you can see things which have been invisible to you. Because in case you are doing things which are so visible to you, you are playing a game which you know and you have played in the past. And thus everything is comfortable, I'm at peace with myself, I'm happy, content, everything is moving the way I would have expected things to move. But that's not what my intentions are. At the end of the day, I would rather love to see you more disturbed. That's what my intentions are. I would want you to be so disturbed that your quest, the seeking that you have been holding on to for yourself, that continues to grow, and say, you know what, I would like to see things that I've not seen in the past, and where you put together and offer to the alchemy and say, you know what, Lord, give me the power. I would like to see myself the way I've never seen myself. Can you make it so visible to me that I cannot unsee that? Can you give me the power necessary where I can stand and claim in my greatness? And that is not possible, because in case you're operating from a space of the default space that you have been operating from, this is not possible, not at all possible. I'll not be surprised that if I speak to you one-on-one, if I just ask you, tell me, how are you? I'll not be surprised that you might experience a strong gush of sadness and sorrow and deep hurt within yourself, a sense of rejection that you're not been able to hold within yourself. I'll not be surprised with that, because the same is the truth with me as well. In case you ask me, Gaurav, how are you today? What's happening? I know I would experience a deep sense of regret and hurt and rejection and sadness and sorrow. And yet, I will use all the possible cosmetics. Tomorrow morning, I'll go to my office. When people would ask me, how are you doing? I'll say, God has been really kind. Everything is going really well. But deep down, only I know where it's hurting the most. Be it your relationship with yourself, or your relationship with your family members, or your colleagues, or the team members that you interact with on a day-to-day basis. And then you step out of the world, and then you realize that somebody has parked a car where you thought that you should have parked it. And then you again experience a sense of disgust. Isn't our lives, most of our lives are actually on the autopilot mode? If it is, how can I say that I make my choices, I'm in the charge of my life? Well, I'm not, because if it's auto mode, we are at the mercy of the context that we are living in. If Trump says that let's announce ceasefire, we'll announce the ceasefire, and suddenly we realize that our narrative would change and we would say, you know what? We are a peace-seeking country. We are not. We are at the mercy of the context that we have been living in. And that's where the intention that I have, or the intention I don't have, is at the mercy of the complexities of the world we are living in. Then where is the intention? Where is the intention? Then what is the difference between us and any other mammal on earth, any other living being on earth? And that's when my intention for all of us, I'm saying, all of us who is present in this room, is to be more disturbed by the end of tomorrow, because that possibly would give birth to the curiosity and a deeper desire to express, connect, and contribute in the way that we have not done in the past. The three basic drivers of a human beings are expression, connection, and contribution. And when we are not able to express fully and completely, on the other side, when we are not been received fully and completely, what is left in the center is a deep sense of suffocation. And I'll not be surprised that if I ask you, in which all areas in your life are you experiencing the deep sense of regret or suffocation? You might say, you know what, at work front, I'm experiencing a deep sense of suffocation. I'm sure there are certain areas in your life where neither you're able to express yourself, nor there is anyone who can receive you fully and completely. Now, the ironical part is, even when there are certain people who are willing to accept you, receive you fully and completely, but I fail to express. Now, that's another deeper regret and doubt that I would be holding within my own self. And now that's what we have to explore in the 2 days jam that we are going to have together. What might open up, I don't know. But my request to you would be, let's play the next 2 days as if the next 2 days are going to be those 2 days that you would look back after 10 years and say, you know what, that moment in those 2 days changed the trajectory of my life. Because the 2 days are not at all going to be transformative for either one of us. It's only a moment which is going to be transformative like never before. Like never before. Now, what is that moment? That moment is going to be different from each one of us. Each one of us. That moment is going to be different. But it's going to happen the next 2 days because we are going through those so many transitions, so many ups and downs in terms of the emotions that we are going to experience in the next 2 days, because we are going to experience different experiences. And that's going to begin with a strong yes to yourself. Because the complexities are not going to slow down. It's not going to decrease. The history does not show that. The complexities in the world, be it the technological complexities or the societal complexities or the geopolitical scenarios, what's happening in the world, or the human complexities that we are talking about, they're only going to increase. And for the next 2 days, my request to you would be, just drop the titles that you've been holding on to so close to your heart. Just drop those titles. I'm sure you are the vice president of an organization, and I value that, I respect that, and I love you for that. But for the next 2 days, the invitation is just offer it to the bonfire and see what shows up, because at the end of the day, what would be left is the most sacred of all. And what's going to be left is what we call ashes, right? And ashes is something that we keep, that we place here on our foreheads. Just offer it, offer your titles and the designations and all the accomplishments that you have done in your life to the bonfire, and let's see, let's wait what shows up in those flames, and what is left is who possibly I am. And again, I've added the word possibly because I really don't know. So the next 2 days, what you can expect is, as I said, a lot of confusion. Those questions that might leave you fragmented. You might experience yourself a little disoriented in the next 2 days. But that's what the intention is. You might ask me, Gaurav, do you have a broad plan for the next 2 days? My answer is yes. The ironical part is it's only broad. What's going to show up, I really don't know. Depends entirely on to what you are going to contribute in the next 2 days. If one of you choose to hold yourself, you're letting the other people down as well, because it's a game that cannot be played with 3 tires. You can drive a car only with 4 tires. And that too when all 4 tires are working really well. You might say, if only I'm not playing it, how does that matter? Nah, it matters. It mattered to your dad's health because you played well. It matters to your daughter's education because you played well. And you know the area at work where you did not play well, and it showed up in the results. Incidentally, you were paid for that month as well. But then, how does that matter? Not because, how does that matter? Because I never gave a thought to that it matters. It matters. It does. You know, I've got a 5-year-old daughter. Every day when I request her to write her gratitude journal, most of the things she does not even understand, but I love it when she says, gratitude journal likhne chale, Gaurav Papa. She might not even understand what it means to write gratitude journal. But it matters. Every day it matters, because after 10 years, after 15 years, after 20 years, she's going to tell you that, no, what, I've been writing gratitude journal when I was 5. I've been meditating since I was 5. It is going to matter 20 years from now. Your presence matters. And it's not a coincidence that we all have gathered when possibly 20 others could gather as well. There are 2 people who are not able to join because of some ABC reason, because they were not supposed to be here. But you were supposed to be here because you matter. Now you are here anyways. Now the question is, what intention would you like to bring to this room is going to define how disturbed would we be tomorrow by the end of the day. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would want to be disturbed at level 10, because if you ask me, Gaurav, what's that one thing that makes a huge difference in life, I would say the clarity of who you are and the clarity of what you're here for. If you ask me, Gaurav, do you have clarity 100%? My answer is no. I don't have. And that often brings tears to my eyes, because I'm not very clear. Tomorrow if I die, have I played my role? My answer is I don't know. I really don't know. So it matters if your intentions are clear. So it matters if what you're bringing to this table, it matters because your one question, the confusion that you're going to share today, is going to matter to the person sitting on the last table. Because possibly that person is holding the same confusion, that person is holding the same question and is unable to speak. Because you spoke it, he thought, that's the same question. So take a moment and ask yourself, what are my intentions for the next 2 days? If you look at the goodie bag that you have, it has got a manual, it has got a notepad that you can write on. So you can just pull that out, and there's a black box. In that black box there's a beautiful diary. Take a moment to write down, what is my intention for the next 2 days? I mean, what is it that you could get for yourself? What is it that you could receive for yourself? That's the best use of our time together. That's the best investment possibly you have done for yourself. So take a moment to write down, what is my intention for the next 2 days, because your intentions are going to define what you're going to get in the next 2 days. I promise you. What you're going to receive in the next 2 days. Now you might have your intentions at any level. It's something that this is what I would like to do, this is what I would like to receive, this is who I would like to be. For the next 2 days, as I mentioned, my intention is that we all get to a place where we are totally disturbed and we can see things that we have not seen in the past, either about ourselves, about the people that you'll be meeting, about the life that we are a part of, or the world that we exist into, so that we can accomplish those things that we have never thought possible for ourselves. And that's in total alignment to who we are. What it means is that in the next 2 days, can we just have a seed within our own selves that can give birth to identifying who I am really, without the designations and the body and the name that have been given to you. Fortunately, unfortunately. Fortunately, because that's the only way we can actually exist in this world. Unfortunately, we took it a little seriously. We took it a little seriously, more than what was required from that. We took our designation too seriously. I took my gender too seriously. I took my name too seriously. I took my accomplishment that has been given to me a little too seriously, without realizing that's a very small canvas that I'm playing in. It's a very limited map that I've been looking at, through which I'm navigating through the complexities of this life. And at any point in time, with any question, if you feel that you don't have an answer, be with that space where you don't have an answer. You don't need to have the answers for everything. And I promise you, 98% of the questions that you'll be asking me, I would not have an answer. 98. It's only 2% that I possibly might have an answer. And I'll not be surprised if I'm being too generous with my own self and I'm saying 2% I would have an answer. So take a moment, turn towards the partner who's sitting next to you and just share, what have you written? What is your intention? What is your intention for the next 2 days? Take this moment. You can come here.
पास माइक नहीं है किसी के पास भी, जब भी कुछ बात कर रहे हैं तो आप पे ही रखें ज़्यादा, तो फिर आप पे ही रखें, 2 एंगल बना दें, ऑडियंस ना दिखाएं।
बीच में चाहिए होगा तो
आप बता दोगे अभी आप पे वीडियो हमारा पहला सेशन है, वो भी थोड़ा समझ आ जाएगी ना क्या क्या चाहते हैं।
खाली शॉट मिल गया शॉट
वाइट शॉट और वाइट शॉट।
नहीं बीच में दो बंदे बात कर रहे हैं, तो क्लोज ले लो, ये क्लोज ले लो। Are we done? Okay. Now, let's take one step forward. If I may request that if we can have people sitting in 4 tables only, and if possible, sit with somebody that you don't know. Sit with somebody that you don't know, and let's have people on 4 tables. And there are a lot of people from GIA, so make sure 2 people are sitting on each table, not more than that. 17? We'll have 1 person less somewhere. And one of you can come and join this table, please. You can come here. Ma'am, you can come here. All GIA? Mother Terry. GIA and Mother Terry. So 1 person can come here, 1 lady can come here. That'll have a good balance of masculine and feminine energy. And one lady can go there, please. You are from GI? You can come here. Now, if you look at the world that we are a part of, we have to look at the world through a very, very intricate lens, because what is visible to you is definitely not a truth. And the truth which the narrative is, that most of us fail to see. We definitely looked at the recent Pahalgam attack that happened in India, but we forgot to see the proxy wars going on worldwide. This is not the first time that has happened, that somebody else attacked it and we blamed somebody else, and the actual culprit was somebody else sitting somewhere else. Now, same is the case with the environmental complexities which are growing on day-to-day basis, and same is the complexities going on between your relationship with your son and your daughter and your father and your mother. And then suddenly you grew a very different kind of a relationship with one of the siblings that you were in love with, and suddenly something has happened that you can't even see the face of that person. Now, that's a human complexities, without realizing that whatever is happening to you right now is the result of that you've been holding on to for so many years against the person who has never done anything wrong to you. And there's a tendency in most of us, in all of us, where we bite the hand that has not even disturbed us. Because I could not process that I've been holding on to for so many years, and now I've started to bite the hand which is trying to assist me, serve me, help me grow. Now, that's a human complexity. So on one hand, we have got the geopolitical complexities that we have been dealing with, and then there are human complexities, and you see the world not as it is, but what you are going through. The lens that you've been wearing, the assumptions that you have not questioned for so many years. A dress that you wore in winters, you continue to wear the same dress in summers, and then you've started to blame summers. No, you have not changed the dress that you were wearing when the temperature was 2 degrees. You cannot wear the same dress when the temperature is 39 degrees. And these are the environmental changes that's happening, because you did not change the lens that you have been holding on to, because of which you are struggling deep within yourself. You have not upgraded yourself. And thus, this internal battle is going on. So there are technological complexities which are only increasing, the geopolitical complexities which are increasing, the human and the environmental complexities which are only increasing. Now, here's an invitation on each table. Just pick up a theme that speaks to you. It could be human, it could be geopolitical, it could be technological, or it could be environmental. And just put all our thoughts together. All our thoughts together. And put together and say, hey, these are the complexities going on in the environment. These are the complexities going on, the geopolitical. Hey, have you noticed that? Have you questioned that? We did see as a part of the history, but did we even question why did this happen? Why did we find Taliban in Afghanistan and not in Iran, and not in India, and not in Sri Lanka, not in China possibly? How come you have got a spoiled relationship with your father and not with your mother? How come your son is not respecting and loving the way you would expect him to love? What is it that you are invisible to, that you are blind to? Because unless you see which is invisible to you, you cannot bring any shift in your way of being, in the way of showing up in the world, the way you deal with the complexities of the world. There would always be a gap. Complexities are here, and I'm still using Windows 95. Now this gap is the real gap. So take a moment, discuss with your table members the complexity. Which one would you like to take as a team? Which one would you like to take? Which one would you like to take? Which one would you like to take? Technological complexities, okay. Human part, okay. We just have to discuss the complexities, that's it. Environmental, and you're left with no choice. Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that? If you don't choose, you will feel as if I'm choosing, but it's driven by the context that you're living in. So, human part, technological changes, environmental and geopolitical. Take your time. Okay, take 15 minutes and put together everything that's showing up for you in that domain. So let's start. Who would like to begin? I'm sure you would need a mic. I'm going to give you a mic. Just for the table. For the table. Which team would like to begin?
Okay, good morning everyone.
Good morning.
So our topic was environmental, and some of the points that we discussed in terms of the complexities and challenges that we face as society related to this is the cross-border pollution, which we first talked about, and which is resulting into global warming, and nobody is really intending to control the carbon footprint. So we all talk about it. There are some nations who are really, doing a lot of things around it, and there are many organizations which are supporting in reducing the carbon footprints. But the core of it is that we are creating those carbon footprints. Nobody is really paying attention. I mean, we are paying attention, but we are not doing the real job of curtailing down on the things that we can reduce in our daily life, right from brushing our teeth to having these water bottles on our table. Everything is contributing to this problem. So somewhere that intent is not clear, that whether I want to really reduce it or, okay, it's a good thought and it's a nice topic to discuss in some conferences. So that intention is not very clear. The other aspect is the infrastructural development, the roads, the metro trains, or what is that? Dams and highways, everything which is impacting the ecology that was created by our ancestors. So we used to have तालाब, कुएं, हमारे बचपन में हमने बहुत कुछ देखा है, but all of that is gone. Why? Because we need development. We need better roads. We need, direct connectivity. We want freeways. So, who are giving their, lands to create those highways? The poor farmers. So, what are we ultimately doing? We are reducing the greenery and we are converting that in the concrete jungle. So that is what we are contributing to this environment. And the one imbalance that we see, the two income groups that we have in our country. So there is a high income group and there is a low income group, and the gap, we have middle class, but then the gap again, you will see the gap is too wide. So you want to talk about this point?
The thought and the complexity around income groups and how that sort of connects to environment is, we were talking about how at few years back, or some years back at least, potable water was something that you could have anywhere, and today the concept of bottled water is only something that only a few sections of the society can sort of afford to. It may seem quite affordable to maybe the group sort of sitting here, but to a large section of Bharat, it is not that accessible. So we were thinking about how that complexity and how that income sort of imbalance and that gap is only increasing day by day.
Yeah, like one of the example is we are, for our comfort, we are damaging environment. One of the example is in our industry itself, like in Mother Dairy, there used to be a bulk vending milk, like we have a lot of booths, 2,000 booths are there. So around 10 lakhs, 10 plus 12, 13 lakhs liter per day used to be served to the consumer of Delhi. So that is shrinking, that base is shrinking, moving toward poly pack. because nobody wants to go to approach the shop with a steel container. So it's not about only time. We have time, but we don't want to go. So we have exchanged it for plastic. So that is something we can think of. This is something thoda sa we can take some discomfort and we can think of the environment. So it's not like what we are discussing, pollution is population is increasing, so that is putting up on the pressure. No, it is our greed that is increasing. It is our own selfishness that is increasing, that is putting pressure on the environment, that is creating all sort of trouble. Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for bringing the word that, of course, something is happening in the world, but it has to do with something with you, right? And that's where one of the very important themes that we'll be talking and discussing as we move on is what we call as the social awareness. One of the most underrated trait of an individual. Every time when I use the word individual, please listen to that as the word leader, because in the corporate world that we live in, we use the word leader, and I personally believe it's an overrated word for no reason. Because if you look at the 98% of the leaders who are there in your organization, you don't even respect. 98%. And the word human being is underrated. So whatever word resonates with you, you can use that, but I'll be using the word individual. One of the most underrated trait of an individual in any environment is are you an ease to be with? Are you an ease to be with? Because if you're not an ease to be with, you are a dis-ease to be with. Fair, right? If you're not an ease, you are a dis-ease. And disease is nothing but a disease. It's a disease. What we don't realize is that how I'm so much absorbed in my own need in this moment, I'm not even aware of that my presence is adding discomfort to the person sitting next to me. So I'll rather speak well, speak eloquently, than to be an ease to be with. Because at times, silence contributes a lot than speaking for ensuring that you are visible. Just continue to be with this space. Where am I operating from? Where am I operating from? You know, I requested in the morning, I said, can I have a chair here? And I said, I wanted to have a bar chair, which is a little high, and he got me a king size chair. I said, no, I'm not looking for that. I'm not looking for that because the king size chair is too big for me to get fit in. The idea was just to sit and be invisible so that you can focus on the areas where you need to focus on rather than focusing on the chair which is in front of you. And that is possible only when you understand your essence, because if you don't understand your essence, you would continue to cling on to the things which you feel is giving you visibility, which is not even required. Why would you need visibility for no reason? Of course, we do marketing a lot. We do that. But still, everything that you do has to be re-looked at. Where are you operating from? Because doing, if it's not in sync with your being, it's going to be so much in the face that would be jarring. I'm sure you have seen people who are too jarring for you. Now, can you be invisible and yet adding value like salt? Like salt. A little bit of salt here and there takes the taste to a very different level. To a very different level. And yet it's not jarring.
Can I give an example?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So Ma'am Indra gives us an example that there's always a masanji in a restaurant जो मसाला पीस के बनाता है.
Yeah.
Right? He makes the gravies. He's never appreciated because the chef is the one who takes
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
But the real taste lies.
Always, always. You know what? Most of you must have engaged with Preeti. You would have received a mail from Preeti. Yes. Preeti sitting at the back. I tell people that she does a lot of work. She does possibly a lot of work, and I get to see the glory. I get to receive all the glory in my life. but possibly that's destiny for me. Possibly. I can definitely receive that, but in that moment, can you actually offer your gratitude to that? So whenever you get time, just go and say thank you to her. Because if it's not for her, we would not have been together. Yeah. Now similarly, there's somebody in your family like that. It's like in my family, my brother is like that. The more I say thank you to him, the less it is. He's like a solid rock in the family. Who's that solid rock in your family? That's one. And the deeper question that you need to ask yourself, because right now we are still working on the self part. Tomorrow we'll talk about when you're working with others, you could be a growth catalyst to somebody. But before that, you have to be a growth catalyst to yourself. Take a pause and see, are you being a dis-ease to somebody? Without you even knowing that, because unless you see what is invisible to you, you will not be able to accomplish that you've never thought possible for yourself, which is in alignment to your potential. Because I can guarantee you, all of us are playing a smaller game than we can potentially capable of. I can write on a piece of paper. Because the map that we all are using is a very well-known map. You know it. If I do this, this is going to happen. If I do this, this is going to happen. You know, if I speak like this with my boss, he's going to react. She's going to react in this way. I should not cross this line now. You know this. It's a known game, right? You're playing the known game with your partner. You're playing the known game with your colleagues as well. It's a known game. Known game will only deliver known results. You might feel that you're really smart. Look, I know the game. Unfortunately, you are killing your own potential because you're only playing the game that you have mastered. And people invite others to play the game only they have mastered. You're not going to invite me to play a game of golf in case you don't know, if you don't play golf. But in case you play golf, you're going to play me, hey, Gaurav, let's go and play golf. It's less about inviting Gaurav to play golf. It's about, one, to show I play golf. Second, to know that I'm going to beat you. So come, let me show you my skills, how to use an iron. Think about it. Who are you a dis-ease with in your life? So thank you for starting. Who else would like to share the complexities in the geopolitical scenario? You can take the mic from there. Thank you.
So, geopolitical, a very close topic to a lot of people heart. So we have just taken an example of a recent activity which has happened, especially India-Pakistan. Okay, and a lot of sentiments and the recent attack that we had of Pahalgam. How it has impacted us. We don't know who did it, how it happened, but the information that we have received, the social media around us, whatever we have seen, as an individual, it has impacted us a lot, right? We have started looking at that community very differently. Maybe this is how a lot of informations are also flowing when we are growing up. So this has impacted us. It has impacted individual, family, and maybe the hate is there in our heart. That's not true. We don't know the reason. So these are, and there are multiple examples that we have spoken. So you want to add?
Yeah, I'll give you another googly here and mull over it, right? My assumption is all of you were saddened because we lost 26 people.
Yeah.
22nd April, right? Now take a moment and to be with this thought that were you really sad because we lost 26 people, or it has got to do something with the deeper trauma that you've been dealing with between what's happening between India and Pakistan? Because if it was exclusively for the loss of life, then the trauma that you are into right now must be almost like 10 times, because yesterday we lost around 200 plus
Absolutely.
lives,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So the trauma that we should be ideally into should be 10 times of what we went through there. But as I told you, right, you don't react to what's happening right now. You react to what you've been holding on to for so many years. It is not only about losing life, it's about losing life against the player that we don't want to lose. It has got some deeper traumas. It has got some deeper traumas. Reflect on that. Yeah.
Yes.
How that life is gone.
Of course.
On the house.
It was more of
An accident.
that was more intense.
Yeah. We'll play with that as well. What are we calling an accident? What are we calling a intentional?
Yeah, just to add to it, I think geopolitical is
गूगल
a-
देख के तो नहीं बोल रहे ना
Sorry?
गूगल देख के फिर ठीक है
Yeah, as I was saying, so geopolitical is a vast topic, and we kind of touched upon India-Pakistan, the current developments. So I think from an impact standpoint, it's the people who live near the borders are impacted the most. That's because there is continuous ceasefire violation. There are lives that get lost. Then there are people like in the armies who are like facing this day in and day out. I think that's one of the impact that these people do face on both the ends. Similarly, I think which she touched upon was the religion intolerance. I think one of the impact that war brings to both the sides is the economical impact. The crude prices go up. I think we are seeing this not only with India, Pakistan, but overall with Russia, Ukraine, and so on and so forth. So that also impacts our daily lives. Similarly, I think one of the major impact that comes in is from the media. I mean, the narrative is not always clear. We kind of believe in whatever we see on the news. You go to the world news, you'll see a different narrative. You go to a Pakistani news, you'll see a different narrative. So I think that is where there is not a lot of clarity, which one seeks for. I think, yeah, at this point of time, I mean, developing nations like India cannot afford a war, because I think we are developing and we are doing very well when it comes to the GDP.
Beautiful. Thank you for bringing that.
Yeah.
Now, one of the themes that I'm picking up right now is we start to believe what we hear. Yes, no? And there's a lot of things that you have been hearing about yourself from your parents, from the family that you come from, your uncle and your aunt and your teachers and your colleagues. And deep down somewhere I've started to believe that thing about myself. And interestingly, if you notice, we start to look at ourselves the way we would expect the other person to look at us. And we have also created an image about ourselves through the eyes of the other person, and in front of that person we behave exactly like that, without realizing the person might not believe what you believe that he believes about you, what she perceives about you. And thus, when people ask me, Gaurav, what coaching is, I tell them that coaching is about expanding your imagination, expanding your perspectives, and diffusing your ego. Coaching is a process of expanding your perspective and diffusing your ego. Very simple language that human beings can interact and understand. I can give you a technical language or a technical definition of coaching as well. I personally playing this game for 20 years, but that's not at all relevant. Because 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 and all the mathematical equation, they did not serve me. However, the moment I understood the essence of 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, it made all the difference. It's like my daughter, when you ask, she would give you something and say, thank you, Papa. And if you don't say welcome, for her, it's an incomplete equation. It's an incomplete equation. She will again tell you, thank you, Papa. And then you are busy doing what you are doing, but the equation is incomplete for her. That's what she has learned. For her, is incomplete. And she would say, thank you, Papa. And then say, you're welcome, Nidhi. And then that's complete, and then she will do something else. Or when she says, I'm sorry, Papa, it's an incomplete. If I say, I'm sorry, Papa, it's an incomplete. And then she would say, I'm sorry, Papa. I have to say, it's okay, baby. It's a complete equation. Now, what are those equations that you don't move on without you feel they are complete? Possibly, we have not learned it properly because we are stuck with the assumptions that we created when you were 5, and we never questioned that. And thank you, Papa. Thank you, Papa. I'm sorry, Papa. We never questioned that, and we are stuck with the same imagination and the same perspective without even expanding them. Because unless I expand, I'll not be able to diffuse an ego. We are stuck with an identity which is not even serving you. There's an identity that you are stuck at which is not even serving you because there's a fear involved in that. And when you are living with a stuck identity and a fear involved in that, I'll not be able to step into a new purpose in my life. Forget about wholeness. Forget about being an ease to be with. Because I'm so much absorbed with my own identity and with my own fear, I don't even see you. You know why? Because I don't see myself. And as I told you, right, you cannot accomplish something new that you are possibly capable of and in alignment to your potential because you're still blind to what you're blind to. And it's my responsibility for myself. Similarly, it's your responsibility for yourself to see which is invisible to you. It's important for you to ensure that your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, your team members, your bosses, the colleagues that you work with, anyone that you get in touch with, that they can see which is invisible to them. And that's possible only when you heal yourself. And that's one of the basic roles of a leader. So thank you for bringing that. Let's hear who else would like to go next. Technological changes.
Hi.
Hi.
So when we talk about technological, how it has impacted and what are the complexities with it, we always speak about AI, which has come into place a few years ago. And it has impacted almost every area, like what we are doing in our lives, right? From education to how we are working, how things are getting automated, what impact it is having on children. Like children nowadays use more of AI tools like ChatGPT or Copilot or DeepSeek. That is helping them to understand things better, but it is also impacting them wherein they are not being creative. Like they are not being able to write a letter, they are just going and giving a prompt and getting information. So that is impacting the education world. Then in terms of us, what we are doing is there are a lot many apps that have come around nowadays. Some of them, like making payments, it has become easy for us. We don't need to carry cash, or you have digital wallets and everything. But it is also impacting some people down the line who don't have access to that. Like if you are using an app to get groceries from the corporates or from these big players, your bania or the kirana, this place, or your roadside vendors, they are getting impacted. So all these people are getting impacted without they knowing, or because of they being disadvantaged because of technology. That is one. And one more thing is our life is complicated wherein we are connected 24/7 by mobile phones or by laptops, iPads or something like that. We are getting connected, and there is not a moment, at least the Indians, we are connected 24/7. The US, Europe is sleeping at least for those 8-9 hours. And this technology, wherein it is helping us, there is also an impact over our lives, and we have to be with it. We cannot be away from it. Like, because we always have that fear of missing the bus. Like if we don't learn, then I'll be stuck there and I'll not be going to that level. So everyone has that fear, and we try to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this word. Now, isn't it interesting? On one hand, we are experiencing advancement, but that's only adding further to our fear. We already have a lot of fear. I promise you, if you just scan your body, you'll realize that there are so many pointers in your body that you would experience a sense of fear. You know, there's a Hindi term, probably from Sanskrit, it's samskaras. I call them emotional knots. And suddenly when something happens, you start to experience a shock. Some kind of fear, I'm experiencing some kind of fear, I'm experiencing a pain here, I'm experiencing, my heart is sinking, you know, you start to sweat. Something happened and it triggers the fear in you. So the advancement is contributing to your fear, and that's the complexity that we are talking about. So thank you for bringing that. Let's hear from the human complexities and the relationship complexities and
yeah, good morning. I'll begin. So we had this most complex topic of human, which is full of emotions, and we got it differentiated in personal and professional. And we talked about mostly how professionally, what are the topics we get into, and that's one of is region complexity, since we work in different sectors and different multilingual and things. So that is one of the point. Protocols, my team will definitely brief on it more. I'm just taking some points out of it. Agile mindset, adaptable mindset, spell out, communication gap, ego, well-being of mind, and for personal level we have mentioned baggage, self-guilt, difference in values, expectations, lack of purpose, interactions, relationships, and priorities. These are some personal. Since we are professionals, so the points in professionalism are more. So I want my team to just have a small, elaborate these points for you.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Human complexity, how it arises. I would like to give my thought, how it arises. I will give an example. We have come from different background. We might have attended 100 classes like this, or might have many classes. You are giving some concept to me. Tomorrow I will attend another class. I will get another concept to it, if it is the same subject. So there is a fighting between the conceptual. There is no basic rules in growing up by the children or growing up by the any basic things. So those are becoming very complexity in our mind. We are not very much clear after some years. I have worked 25 years. Like young executives are now working. He was telling me that I am more involved to office rather than my personal life when we are discussing this. So after 25 years, I am realizing what it should be in the life. That means how it matters to balance a work-life balance. So to know all those things will take 15, 20 years. So there are no basic things which is good or which is bad is learned everywhere same. I am being taught something different, another place being taught something different. In some organization, it is being taught that you should be a salt. That means you should be act like a salt, which is more important. In some organization, it is seen that you should be the show of vegetable, so that your products will be get sold. I am just giving one example. So that's differentiation of thought process and which is good or which is bad. Because of the dead fear, there are much more complexities coming in our mind and body. Yes, after some time, after reading books, after attending lot of classes, after interacting with many people, this gets clear gradually. But complexities are there to a period of times. That's what complexity I understand.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi Gaurav, hello everyone.
Hi.
I think one major factor for complexity in the human, on the personal front, is your physical and emotional mental well-being. We are dealing with multiple factors day in and day out. A lot of factors are there. What side of the bed do you get up from? How many hours of sleep you had? What did you have last night? How did you deal with your son last night, after coming to office? So all this accumulates in your mind, and that affects your interaction with other human being. And interaction is the biggest medium for communication, passing on energies, exchanging energies, and letting you flow in a particular direction. So when you have all these emotional knots, physical knots in your body, so there's a gap in the way you interact and people perceive your interaction to be. And that's a very natural gap, so that is not planned, but it could be a very natural way of me reacting to you in a certain manner because of circumstances. So again, that causes complexity because interaction is not smooth and there's a gap. So, how do you seamlessly interact with a calm mind, but knowing all these, imbalanced energies going on in your body and mind is a very big challenge for every human being.
Thank you.
Hi, morning everybody. It's still morning. So we personally felt complexities arise when there is friction. Frictions arise. For example, I have a preconceived notion. I take a certain person A and I've already formed an opinion. Now my opinion of what that person is and what opinion I have, that is where friction arises. So preconceived notions are criminal in a way. So if we want to reduce complexities, no preconceived notions. And secondly, we thought of ego. People have super inflated ego. Acceptance level is 0. So once you're not ready to accept what's happening around you, people the way they are, you cannot change the world. Famous saying goes, you cannot change the world, you got to change yourself. So once that friction, you diffuse that friction, you are at ease. And it was also felt, like Sir made a very important point, why do you need to be visible? Because you're somewhere very, very overambitious. Your overambitiousness can be a cause of great complexity. So that is what we at our table felt. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We are going to take a break now. My invitation to you would be, you can only connect with others provided you are connected with your own self. And your relationship with authority, your relationship with gender, your relationship with your own body, your relationship with time, your relationship with money has got to do a lot with your relationship with self. And thus, it shows up, it manifests in your relationship with people around. Be it your boss, be it people who's good looking than you in your own eyes, people who's male or female, people who has got more money or less money, or the way somebody shows up in time, before time, after time. So it's time to have a confrontational conversation with self. That in which area of your life are you genuinely struggling with, and you're saying enough here, I've dealt with this, with the same pattern for last 40 years, and I'm tired of that. Because I know I'll find a banana peel and I will walk on that and then I'll slip off as well. I know this. And then also, you find yourself stepping onto that, going through the pain again. And then followed by that regret. I told myself, I should not have started an argument here. Just because I could not compose that unmet need led to the disharmony and disequilibrium in the environment that I'm a part of. And you know that area for yourself. It's not that you're not even aware of that. It's not that it's new to you. You are aware of that. So time for us to have that deeper conversation, confrontational conversation with ourselves. So we are going to take a break, 20 minutes break. My request to you would be speak as less as possible and have that internal selfie, have that conversation with your own self. Please say no to mobile phones unless it's very, very urgent. It's criminally important. Then take that phone call. And I promise you, your CEO must not be even missing you. The work is already going on. Mother Dairy is selling milk really well. GIA, you are doing testing really well, right? The students are studying really well, and everything is taken care of. We tend to take ourselves too seriously. I remember when I was younger in my college days, and I will say I'm like this. So people say, why do you give so much respect to yourself? Why do you think who you are? He said, when you don't know who to give respect to, somebody will have to do the job really well. Now, please don't be that, Gaurav. It did not serve me. Did not serve me. So take a moment, see for yourself if you're giving yourself too much importance where it's not even required. And where it's required, you will get that respect and importance and all the love. You will get that. So let's take a 20 minutes break. In 20 minutes, we'll be back. Take care of your timing. Thank you.